Okay, today we'll see plant kingdom. Okay, plant kingdom includes what are they? Bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms and algae. Okay, now let us see the classification type. There are three types. One is artificial, natural and phylogenetic. Artificial means it is based upon artificial characters like color, size, romba deepa illama. And natural means some external and internal structures of them. And whereas this phylogenetic means based upon genetic materials. Okay, and these are the three classification. And now let us see some advantages. Artificial na only one character vachi they can easily identify, so romba kashtamana names ella illa, so it is a biggest advantage. And also disadvantage adhe da ore or idha vachi nam eppadi idu panna mudiyum, category pirikka mudiyum, so adu disadvantages. And whereas natural ku enna irukum, it is based upon external and internal, right? So enna advantages disadvantages irukkalam? Advantages வந்து only related groups can be grouped in a under this classification. அதுக்கப்புறம் disadvantage இதே disadvantage தான், ஒரு related organisms only can be grouped, so it is also a disadvantage. Advantage அதுதான், disadvantage அதே தான் இருக்கும். Okay, now let us see about taxonomy. Okay, what is taxonomy? Taxonomy, taxonomy, what is taxonomy? Yes, identification, classification. Okay, this identification is of three types. One is numerical, cytotaxonomy and chemotaxonomy. Numerical na about carried out a quantitative assessment and numbers which are based on the numeric taxonomy. Cytotaxonomy based upon chromosomes. Okay, the cytological informations like chromosomes, number, structure and behavior and type of the chromosomes. And in human, how many chromosomes are there? 23, then that is 46 in man. And their behavior of chromosomes was used by taxonomists during pairing and banding patterns of to understand the relationship between the species. Another is chemotaxonomics, na enzymes produced like chemical constituents which includes enzymes, hormones, proteins, amino acids, etc. Okay, now let us see about algae. Algae na enna? Pasi. Yeah, adu eppadi irupanga, which color? So due to green edunala irukum? Okay, chlorophyll. So it is a green chlorophyll pigment. Okay, habitat where it can be found? Wet areas like rocks, tree trunks, etc. In the mari area la we can find this. Okay, now let us see the structure of a algal cell. And these are a eukaryotic plant cell structure which contains what? Chloroplast, mitochondria and then endoplasmic reticulum and a Golgi bodies. And the cell wall contains cellulose. And the food material inge vandu starch is used as a food material by them. Okay. Okay, now let us see the reproduction in algae. It is of three methods. One is vegetative, asexual and sexual. Vegetative na enadhu? I mean fragmentation enadhu? Fragmentation? Yes, that is fragmentation. Our fission na? Yes, okay, and then acinates? Acinates na? These are the non-motile spores. Okay, with the help of them adu reproduce agum. And then tubers na in some plants, right? Tubers ke example solunga? Yes, okay, and hormogonia and adventitious thallic. And whereas in asexual na it is zoospore, synzoospore, aplospore, hypnospore, auto and tetra. What is zoospore? Zoospore. What is zoospore? ஆல்கேல ஒரு ஃப்ளெஜிலம் எக்ஸ்ட்ராவா இருந்தனா அந்த மூலமா வந்து ரீப்ரொடக்ஷன் நடந்துச்சுனா that is zoospores. Okay, zinna அதுக்கு ஆப்போசிட், நான் மொட்டைல், no flagellum. And whereas alpnospore na, any idea? Alpnospore அவங்களும் நான் மொட்டலா இருப்பாங்க, but it attract the female, that is alpnospore. And hypno in the presence of water medium. Okay, and then auto, yes, தானாவே நடக்குது, but they will be non motile only. Okay, and then tetra na, tetra தெரியும், yes, அப்ப 4 flagellum இருக்கும். Okay, and then sexual la it is isogamy. What is isogamy? Fusion of male and female oda similar தான் இருப்பாங்க ரெண்டு பேரும் similar they used to form a zygote, whereas ansogamina it is opposite of that, that means dissimilar. Usually this is seen, okay. And then oogamina, oogamy, oogamy, correct, non motile. Okay, in this enna agona this this male will be motile and which attracts the female வந்து ரொம்ப bigger attract பண்ற மாதிரி இருக்கும், okay, that is called as oogamy. And okay, now let us see the life cycle in what we are seeing. Yes, okay, life cycle can be haplonoitic, diplonoitic and diplohaplonoitic, and then alternation of generation occurs in the diplohaplonoitic life cycle only. Okay, now let us see some economic importance. Okay, economic importance edukala useful ah irukku algae, like any uses of algae? Medicines, what medicines? Medicine, food, no food, yes, single cell protein, yes, correct. And then food ku medicine na spirulum, okay, the spirulum enadhu, spirulum na enadhu, it is a capsule, right, spirulum, yes. And then responsible for carbon dioxide fixation and on the earth by the process of photosynthesis, and also some proteins like spirulina as used as a food supplements, that is medicine. About they are marines only, about 70% of the species are marine only, like example porphyra, laminaria, etc. Okay, now let us see about classification. Ipo algae endendha color la irukko adha base panni they are divided into 3. One is red, brown and green. Okay, okay, red algae ku edha name theriyuma? Red, green, brown. Okay, now let us see. Okay, this Chlorophaceae, this is called as green algae, so they will be green in colors only, and they are unicellular colony da irupanga. And then the cell forms contains a cellulose which is a inner layer, and the outer layer is called as pectose. Pectose na, what is that pectose? Pectose, pectose, yes, sugar molecule, correct. And then it can be discoid, plate like, reticulate, cup like, there are different shapes also, and they have a flagellate idena function enna? Yes, locomotion. And then reproduction vandu they reproduce vegetatively and by sexual methods only. Sexual method we saw, vegetative method we saw in the previous slides, like fragmentation, stolons and tubers, etc. Life cycle vandu they can be haplonoitic, diplonoitic and diplohaplonoitic okay. In haplonoic cell life cycle enna irukuna, there is a single somatic phase which is haploid. Haploid, diploid na enna? Single set of chromosomes. Yes, and where is diploid? Yes. Okay. Okay, and the next one is Fabaceae. This is brown algae. So ivanga vandu based upon the brown pigmentation on them is brown, this color is brown, okay. And the cell organization enna, all the members are here is multicellular, but whereas in previous green algae, what are they? Yes, unicellular. And they also have a cellulose, which cell wall is composed of cellulose, pectose and cells called phylocoids. Outer layer vandu pectose and inner layer vandu cellulose. Okay, and they have celluloid wall of vegetative cell which is usually covered by a gelatinous that is gelatinous coating of a algae. And then thallus vandu they have the heterotrichous filament with both prostate and the upward branches. Abdina enadhu? Prostate upright branches na? Upright na enadhu? மேல் பக்கம் வரவங்க சைட்லயுமே வளருவாங்க, okay, that is there. And then the parenchymatous structure is found in the highest form of this category only. Reproduction vandu same as usual, vegetative reproduction by fragmentation, adventitious branches and stolons. Adventitious branches na enadhu? Last class la paathomla, enadhu adu? Adventitious taproot system, adventitious root system. Adventitious na eppadi valaruvanga? Any part of the plant any part but tap root system na radical mattum. Yes, and life cycle வந்து இங்க வந்து isomorphic alternation of generation is found in some brown algae. Like example வந்து ectocarpus and a Discota. Okay, and the next class is Rhodophyceae, and this is based upon the red color. அப்போ இவங்க red color நால this name came. Okay, they are mostly multicellular. They are mostly multicellular and the cell wall on the same da contains cell wall and a pectose layer and also contains certain mucopolysaccharides. What is mucopolysaccharides? Polysaccharides na many sugar content. Okay, appo mu na I'm sorry mucopolysaccharides na mucose na muco na enadhu இல்ல கவுண்ட் இல்ல நம்பர் இல்ல மியூக்கோனா கவுண்ட் கிடையாது மியூக்கஸ் மாதிரி correct mucus மாதிரி இருப்பாங்க mucopolysaccharides called the phylocoids and then reproduction same that is fragmentation regeneration of the holdfast and gamete and the sexual வந்து the male will be non motile and which is a oogamous type and life cycle வந்து haplonoidic haplonoidic diplohaplonoidic etc. Okay, next is bryophytes. Bryophytes na enadhu? Bryophytes like example for bryophytes. Ama okay, example ama example yes, opentia, yeah, correct. Then okay, we'll see. It includes various mosses and liver hosts and there are non-vascular embryophytes characterized by the presence of an independent gametophyte and a parasitic saprophyte and habitat vande enga they are found commonly in moist areas only and they are called as amphibians of the plant kingdom. Why so amphibians na enadhu? Appo these are the plant kingdom la, but they can live in plant as well as in land and water. Yes, thallus vandu they are more differentiated than that of algae. Algae la or body part la we can't differentiate, right? But algae எப்படி நம்ம அவ்ளோ differentiate பண்ண முடியாது. So அதை விட இதை differentiate நம்மளால பண்ண முடியும். Okay, and thallus, it is a thallus like and a prostate erect and attached to the substratum by a unicellular or multicellular rhizoids. Rhizoids na rhizoids rhizoids na rhizoids ku example rhizomes na enna? Okay, அது எப்படி இருக்கு? அதே மாதிரி இவங்க கீழே குரூப்பாக இருப்பாங்க, அதுதான் ஃபேர்ம் கொடுக்குது, அந்த சப்போர்ட் கொடுக்குது இந்த பிளான்ட்டுக்கு. செக்ஸ் ஆர்கன்ஸ்னால் வந்து the main plant body is haploid and thus produces gametes which is called as a gametophyte and the sex organism bryophytes are multicellular and the male sex organ in bryophyte is called as antheridium and the female is called as archegonium and the reproduction is by sexual type only and the anthroids are released into water where they come into இது என்னது இது? The like what pollination is this? Yes, correct. Okay, next is fertilization. Enna aguna it occurs inside the archegonium. What is archegonium? Female. Yes, okay. Enna pannuna the egg secretes a enzyme to attract the sperms, that is spermatozoids, sorry. And the sperm enna pannuna it want a thin layer of water edukku to swim and go to the archegonium, that is nothing but the female. And once when the sperm fuses with the egg and produces a diploid zygote, it produces a zygote and then zygote doesn't undergo any reduction in the division immediately. Instead they produce a multicellular body called as saprophyte. Okay, enna agum idula? Enna agum? First line solunga, where it happens? Yes, females la enna agum? Okay, females enna first egg la produce pannum, enzyme first produce pannum to attract the sperm. Yes, and after that water மாதிரி yes அந்த enzyme அந்த water content தான் enzyme okay and that is called as saprophyte. அப்போ now let us sporophyte sporophyte na enna it is a not a free living and which is attached to a photosynthetic gametophyte driving nourishment from it. So the some cells of the sporophyte undergoes a reduction to produce the haploid eggs. Upon the haploid eggs lendu what happens from that? What happens from that? Yes, gametes produce after then yes okay the life cycle inge vandu heteromorphic alternation of generation and it can be produced directly or a first form juvenile stage called proteinoma. Juvenile stage na reproduction stage yes correct okay economic importance na avanga vandu animals ku food ah irundukanga like herbaceous animal ku herbivorous animals ku and then the species of sphagnum provides a peat that have a long been used as a fuel ku and also for biological succession na what is that? Reproduction illa okay plant succession another yes formation yes correct appo and idukku formation of and or land develop agiradhukku idukku they have been used and then they form a dense mats on the soil and they have the reduce the impact of falling raindrops and thus prevent the soil erosion and also medicinal properties to cure lung diseases and also has a anti-tumor properties na anti-tumor properties tumor na enna tumor na type of cancer yes type of cancer appo and prevent panna tumor cells valarama idu prevent pannudhu okay types of bryophytes and there are three types one is liver wort horn wort and mosses okay idella enga paapinga the liver wort horn wort தண்ணில சரி தண்ணில எது தண்ணில பாப்பீங்க எது ஹார்ன் ஓட்டா மோஸ் எங்கே பார்ப்போம் மோசஸ் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஒன் தண்ணியில் பார்ப்பியா நீ பார்த்துருக்கியா அந்த சேர் இடத்துல அதுக்கப்புறம் ட்ரீஸ்க்கு பக்கத்தில் தானே ரொம்ப கொலன்னு ஆகிடும் மழை பெஞ்சுட்டு நடக்க அந்த இடத்துல இது ஆகுது ஹார்ன் ஓட்னா புல்லுக்கிட்ட இருக்கும் மரத்தில் இருக்காது மோசஸும் அதே மாதிரி தான் ஓகே ஹார்ன் ஓட் வந்து ரெய்னி சீசனில் தான் மோஸ்ட்டாக வருவாங்க ஓகே நவ் லெட் us see some differences about liver oats and mosses okay they are non-vascular plants non-vascular na enna non-vascular vascular tissues na enna it comprises of what last class la paathuma enna adu vascular tissues nal it comprises of what xylem and yes so it is non-vascular means they don't have this xylem and phloem and consist of a leaf like lobes or a stems only and these also are non-vascular plants which consists of a leafy stems and belongs to a division called MRCOG and here one the bryophyta and one the gametophyta is the thallus here thallus and here it is also gametophyte and when the dorsiventral or radial அப்படினா என்ன dorsiventral radial na symmetry it is a type of symmetry what is a symmetry yes அப்போ அவங்க வந்து radial na என்னது okay radial na ஆமா symmetry na அதுதான் okay அவங்க அப்போ rhizoids are unicellular here is pluricellular and proteinoma are reduced but here it is also it produces proteinoma and the leaf like structures are arranged in a rows but here it is arranged in a spiral or a hole okay next is pteridophyta na example சொல்ல முடியுமா இது பார்த்துட்டு Yes, okay. And these are primitive seedless plants. ivangala primitive na நான் சொல்லிருக்கேன். primitive na என்னது? Beginning. Yes, simple structure. Okay, these are simple primitive seedless vascular plants. appo vascular na they have yes, okay. And the term pteridophyta was coined by Haeckel. Okay, it was coined by Haeckel. Yes, about 13,000 species avaru idu pannirkaru. 13,000 pteridophytes le. Okay, now let us see where does it live. It is found only in cold damp places though some shall may flourish well in sandy and soil condition. Body parts vandu they evlo nera size varies till 20 meters in tree forms, and the main body the main plant body is a sporophyte. Sporophyte na முன்னாடி படிச்சோமே sporophyte. Yes, okay. And the vascular tissues vandu they have possesses xylem and a phloem throughout their body. Xylems na enna responsible and what does phloem do? Transport of water. Yes. Phloem transport of okay. Pteridophytes and idu vandu they refers to a embryophytes that do not possess a vascular tissue, but here vandu these are the vascular tissue plants that reproduce and disperse via spores, and they are referred to as cryptogams as they neither produce seeds nor flowers. Okay, now let us next see about sporophyte. Sporophyte, this sporophytes what does it do is bears a sporangia. Sporangia, okay, sporangia enadhu? Spores, yes. Spores sporophytes bear a sporangia, and that are subtended by a leaf-like appendages, extra projections mari, that is called as sporophytes, and they may be distinct compact structure called storbili or cones, and the sporangia produces spores by meiosis in the spores by mother cells. Another is spores. Okay, now let us see what is a spore. The spores germinate to give rise to a small small but multicellular free living but mostly photosynthetic thalloid gametes called prothallus. Okay, and this majority of the pteridophytes, the spores are similar kind only, and such plants are called as homospores. Oh, sorry. And general like Selangina and Salvinia produces two kinds of spores, and that is called as heterosporous. Different kinds of spores na hetero, same na homo. Different na one will be large and one will be small, that is macro and microspores. Okay, now let us see about gametophyte. Gametophyte na? Yes. A thalloid gametophyte or a prothallus requires a cool, damp and a shady places only to grow, and this microspore germinates to give rise to the female and the male gametophytes. Okay, the female gametophyte vandu it is retained on the parent sporophytes for viable periods, and the female gametes depend on the food stored by the megaspores. What is megasporangenesis, microsporangenesis, what are they? Yeah, mother la irundhu poradhu mega. Micro na micro microbes ah? Okay, we'll see in later classes. Okay, the sex organs vandu differentiated into male and female. Male vandu antheridia and female is called archegonia as usual, and then archegonia vandu it is a flask shaped. And next one, fertilization. Inge vandu fertilization ku vandu water is required for the transfer of anthrozoids, and the antheridia, okay, that is male gametes. The antheridia reach to the mouth of the archegonia through a film of water only. So here the medium of pollination is water, and the male gamete with the egg present in the archegonium results in the formation of the, appo yaar inge pova, female only go, male goes to the female through yes, and zygote developed into a multicellular well differentiated sporophyte, which is a dominant phase of the pteridophytes. Okay, now let us see the economic importance. edukla inga use aguvanga, enna economic importance? Economic importance share. Okay, vera Yes, nitrogen fixation. Yes, soil bind பண்ணுவாங்க. வேற பேசிக்கா அனிமல்ஸ்க்கு வந்து ஃபுட்டாக இருப்பாங்கல்ல, that is a basic thing. Okay, and some types of pteridophytes வந்து also prevent from soil erosion. நல்லா ஃப்ரிம்மாக போடுறது, they prevent from soil erosion. Okay, and some types are also used in polishing shoes also. Okay, polishes. Okay, next class we'll see the classification of pteridophytes. Okay, it is divided into 4, and the first one is Coelophyta, another is Lycophyta, Plenophyta, and then Pteridophyta. These are the classifications of that. Okay, and the next what we gonna see is gymnosperms. Gymnosperms na? Okay, male. Okay, gymnos na another. Gymnos. Okay, these are naked seeds. Gymnos na naked, sperms na seeds. Okay, and these the plants in which the ovules are not enclosed, so it is not covered, and then by any ovary wall, and remain exposed both before and after fertilization. And in gymnosperms, the male and the female vandu they do not have an independent free existence of living, and then habitat vandu they are only found in colder places like in northern hemisphere, and they form in extensive forms only, and they are now known as ornamentals. edukku? Because they are used in ornamental cases. Okay, now let us see some morphology. Ivanga vandu they are included in medium sized tree or tall shrubs, or tall trees or shrubs, and these are most are woody climbers only, and then the smallest gymnosperm is Jamia pyginia, which reaches a height of 25 cm. Na 25 cm appo evlo irukum? Yes, scale 30 na appo 25, appo idu smallest. Yes, in pteridophytes. Okay, now external features vandu they have a well differentiated body that is like into root, stem, and leaf, and world tallest gymnosperm vandu called as the giant redwood, that is 125 meters. Okay, and then smallest one we saw the above, and the taproot system sometimes symbiotic relationship with algae and fungi. What is this line mean by? What is that? Symbiotic relationship with algae and fungi. Yes, beneficial. Symbiotic association, mutual beneficial. Okay, between both of them. Okay, next we'll see some internal features. Internal features nothing but vascular tissues. They have both xylem and phloem, and they are arranged in vascular buttons, and this xylem consists of a tracheids, and vessels occur in netum and its relatives. Phloem has a sieve cells, but arranged in rows in gentum. Netum is an example for gymnosperms. Okay, now let us see the reproduction in gymnosperms. Okay, gymnosperms for example, or tree example edana tree. leaves அப்படியே இருக்கும் டீக்ல. leaves எப்படி இருக்கு இதுல? pine tree. Yes, dates. Yes, okay. Pine trees la first enna aguna, a pine tree has both female and a male cones. A pine tree produces a male and a female cones. Adukapro enna aguna, this male cone vandu thaniya produces a pollen grains, and which contains the sperm cells adu ullara irukum. Aprom and the simultaneously what this female cones have is ovules. 2 ovules as its base. Aprom the time in time 2 egg cells vandu form each ovule. அப்ப ரெண்டு எக்ஸுமே form each ovule in that. After that என்ன ஆகும், wind நடக்கும்போது cross pollination, wind என்னது? I'm sorry. Okay, நான் அப்படி நான் கேட்கல. சரி, the wind scatters the pollen grains. windனால வந்து scatter ஆயிடுது அந்த pollen grainsல மேல இருக்கிறது. அப்புறம் வந்து some becomes trapped. Okay, இந்த egg வந்து ஒரு enzyme produce பண்ணும், like stickyயா. அது காத்து அடிச்சோனே இது என்ன பண்ணும், அந்த ஃபீமேலுக்கு போய் ஒட்டிக்கும். அதுதான் becomes என்ன sticky substance produced by the ovules. அப்ப அதுல இருந்து என்ன, the ovule வந்து உடனே stick ஆயிட்ட போனா it closes, and then pollen grains produces the tube and that grows into a ovule, and the sperm cell moves through the tube and fertilizes the egg cell. Okay, and the last வந்து develops into a seed. Seed க்கு அப்புறம் becomes the fertilized egg becomes the seed embryo, and other parts of the ovules வந்து எதுக்கு வந்து அந்த சீடுக்கு வந்து develop a seed coat for protection and seed stored food, and last வந்து wind disperse the pine seeds and a seed grows into a seedling then into a tree. அப்போ wind plays a main role in them for reproduction and for also producing a new plant. Okay. Now classification of gymnosperms, and it was it was coined by K.R. Sporne. Okay, and there are 3 classes. One is Cycadocida and then Coniferocida, and last is Netopsida. Okay, now let us see the economic importance. Economic importance. Fruits, okay. That food, okay. Yes, ornament, yeah, we saw before. Okay, ornament. Then where? That's ornament vandilla. Decoration, ornament, any? Yes, correct. Paper, yes. Paper. Constructions ka use aglam, plywoods. Okay, and then this also used in producing an antibiotic. Okay, antibiotics. Where adana iruklama? And also used in fuels. Okay, fuel. Branches of the gymnosperm trees produces fuels. Okay, used as, used as. Okay, now is angiosperm. Angiosperms na? Female. Okay, okay. Gymnosperms என்னது பார்த்தோம், the word gymnos na? Gymnosperm na naked seeds. இவங்க வந்து these are the seed bearing plants or flowering plants. Okay, angiosperms na. யார் கண்ணுக்கு தெரிய மாட்டாங்களா? நேக்கிட் சீஸ்னா அப்படியே தெரியும், அந்த ஓவியோவில் க்ளோஸ் ஆகாமல் ஓப்பனாக இருக்கிறது. ஓகே, தெரியும். ஓகே okay, this is the plant body of a angiosperm. They are differentiated into root system and a shoot system. Root system now we know it arises on the, what is root system? Root system. Yes. Shoot na? Yes, okay, and functions when the root system they generally provides nutrition and then conducts water and nutrients, and also the stores photosynthetic products. And then whereas shoot na, it helps in photosynthesis, reproduction, dispersal, and then food, water, yes, transportation, etc. Okay, now let us see the seeds in angiosperms. Okay, the seeds are very simple or compound. The leaves bear axillary buds which can grow into a stem branches. Okay, and it also have a vascular tissues which is of xylem and phloem. As usual, xylem transport water and then phloem, yes, that is sugars, nothing but. Okay, now let us see the classification of angiosperm. It was according to Hutchinson's system of classification. He discovered this classification. It is of 2 types only, dicotyledons and monocotyledons, that is 2 and 1. Di means example Lignosae and Herbaceae, and whereas this mono means Calciferae, Coroliferae and then Glumiferae. Okay, now let us see about the flower. Okay, flower na? What you will know in that?